Did you see that one with the lightsaber?
Yeah.
Fight where Michael Jackson. Maybe that's why it's so horrible. Okay, I can't.
Come on. Is that rolling?
Rolling. Keep rolling. What? We're gonna wrap on LinkedIn a little bit.
I don't like LinkedIn. I got on board with LinkedIn because I had a job. It's like a elite club. Like you got to pay to play. What you know about LinkedIn?
I think LinkedIn is primarily used by job seekers as far as consumers go. A lot of HR professionals, staffing, salespeople. Obviously, it's a huge prospecting tool, which is super annoying sometimes. It seems like every LinkedIn push email that you get is from somebody trying to recruit you or sell you something.
Very much so.
But on the flip side of that, it's a great tool, I think, for businesses that work with other businesses to connect with people within those organizations that are decision makers. I don't think there's a better platform out there in which to do that.
Honestly, it was spending 4 years in the recruitment field. Yeah, that's the majority of what I would do it, or find a contact name of a particular organization. Let's use it as kind of a reverse engineering, finding contacts. The acquisition with Microsoft in 2016 really played a part in making it more sales driven. I feel it's gotten a lot more robust. And just knowing that 530 million people play on that space right now, there's definitely some opportunities there. I think it's like 20% of which are major decision makers of those organizations.
That's almost double what Twitter is as far as users. Active users are probably half of that. But this is a completely different demographic than Twitter, right? These are professionals. These are people that work for themselves or small businesses or large corporations and anybody in between.
How do you suppose the common user, not a business but a professional, is using LinkedIn? Like, how are they using it as a social network? Like, how are they interacting with other people? How are they engaging?
I feel like LinkedIn is super situational. I think it's when you're looking for a job or when your boss tells you, go do some research about certain vendors or different technologies, or get out there and find me something. Then it's a scramble of either you hit Google or you go on LinkedIn to find companies that do this. The biggest thing I hate is when companies come to us and they're B2B organizations and they say, well, the internet's not going to work for me. We're not trying to reach a consumer. We're trying to reach a business. We're trying to reach a 3M or a Toro or a General Mills. And I think that's the most blind way to look at it.
It's still people that are working at those organizations.
That's it.
Bottom line, it's still connected with a person.
Yeah, B2B does not exist online. People exist online. General Mills is not a big cereal box of a person that has a profile online. Ultimately, this boils down to reaching an individual. B2B is B2C, or B2P, business to a person.
Yeah. A business is run by people. We're always trying to connect with people. Yeah.
We want to work with 3M. No, you don't. You want to work with Bob Jones, who's the director of HR at 3M.
Right.
That's who you want to work with. You don't want to work with 3M. Good luck.
Yeah. If you're trying to go through step by step, which LinkedIn does a great job of at least figuring out a department head. And sometimes they're not active on it to where it may have been an old role, but you can at least preface that piece if you're doing a cold call or an email to somebody to at least have your foot in the door. In the B2B market, 80% of all campaigns that are run right now is through the LinkedIn space. I won't call it a monopoly, but they have a good share of what's going on right now. And I would say that Microsoft was kind of brought it to that next level of job seeker, recruiter type vibe into how can we monetize this and not necessarily headhunt, but go after the correct people using different variances of ads.
It's powerful as they've adapted their advertising engine to support that. I mean, we run LinkedIn campaigns all the time, and we can pinpoint, people in seats with specific job titles. Now you pay for it.
Oh, the CPMs are there.
It's a highly expensive channel, as you know, to do that. But I think super effective in finding the right people in the right seat at the right organization. Also, where else can you find out if you have a first, second, third connection to that person?
Right.
20, 30 years ago, it's impossible to get to that person.
Yeah.
Would you get a cold call the CEO of a huge company? No. But now you might be 1, 2, 3 degrees of separation from somebody where a simple email or two can get you in front of that person.
Right.
I've always loved that feature about LinkedIn. It does something to you when you're like, oh, that important person that I want to contact, I'm only 2 degrees of separation from.
And you can dig into the separation, figure out who those 2 people are. And if you got a relationship built with them already, start talking with them about that contact in mind.
It almost gives you
They'll
confidence.
be like, oh yeah, Joe, here, perfect. I'll introduce you via email right now.
It's the cliche, and it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
And LinkedIn literally tells you who you know that knows other people, brings it to that next level. You know, all these businesses, they're like, what's the hot channel? It's Instagram, it's Facebook. Everybody wants to be there.
Right.
That's where the people are. That's where we need to put messages out. Well, what they don't know is that the opportunity on LinkedIn is probably better for 90% of businesses out there, especially if you're in the B2B space. Nobody cares what you have to say on Instagram. Instagram's all about being cool and having friends and serving consumers.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn not only is a better channel for what you're trying to do, but also we've seen it. What happens when you make a post on LinkedIn versus Facebook or Instagram as far as reach? I mean, LinkedIn organically is going to get you 5 to 10 times more organic reach than Facebook or Instagram ever will.
Do you feel like people really post? Like, I mean, are people making a video and putting it out there and like does it showing up on their community's newsfeed? And
No. Holistically, no. And I think that's an opportunity. It's not a saturated newsfeed. No one's doing it.
But it's very different than Instagram or Facebook as far as how you're conveying your message on LinkedIn. Obviously, knowing the platform, much more professional in demeanor. You know, I maybe have 1,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I see the same, probably 20 people doing the videos, and probably 70% of them are recruiters.
For businesses, it's a huge opportunity. Obviously, you can run ads within the newsfeed on LinkedIn, but just organically, based on the reach that you're going to get there, and no one's doing it, businesses aren't posting in the feed. They're putting ads in the feed, but you can get such a great organic reach in the LinkedIn feed right now, and businesses just aren't doing it. So that's the biggest opportunity, I feel like, on social media.
boom.
Boom.